when you go to your gym, there's going to be so many different machines when it comes to shoulder press. In this gym alone, I think there's about 3 different variations. I like the Selectorized one, especially seeing as though this is one of the first exercises that I do in any shoulder workout. I used to start with dumbbells. You can start with dumbbells. The thing about dumbbells is if I was to do dumbbells fresh, where I'm at in my training program at the minute, I'd probably be going way too heavy on it. And the heavier you go, the more risk of injury, a lot more shit that can go wrong. So I normally do those second. That's another video. So the setup on this, now just naturally, I'm gonna put the lightest weight on possible. As you can see here, this is not comfortable for me at all. So there's no point me pressing from this angle. So what I would normally do is I always start the seat at the lowest possible setting. So in this gym, that is the lowest possible setting. Now, as you can see here, my elbows are still a little bit lower than my shoulder. I mean, that's not too uncomfortable for me, but I think for most people, that would probably be a little bit too uncomfortable. So I would even say that this wouldn't be the machine for you. I wouldn't even use a machine like this. I'd maybe go over and try a different machine. What you want to be doing, especially when it comes to machines, is you want it around about there. So you can see where I want the handle naturally, and you can see where the handle is, especially for the first exercise where you need everything kind of warmed up. I mean, this is just way out of whack, this machine. I don't know who it's designed for. I'm not even that tall. I'm 5'11", so for guys 6 foot plus, you're fucked. Anyway, lightweight. Always warm up your shoulders with high repetitions. I know you heard about, you know, if you watched any of my incline chest videos or any other compound lifts that I do, like deadlifts and squats, whatever my program is. So let's say my program is 3 sets of 10. I will never warm up past 10 repetitions. When it comes to shoulders though, I like to go into like the 20 rep range. So I just keep it nice and simple, 20 repetitions. So actually, do you know what? Now that I'm actually doing the machine, it's actually not too bad. So I'm still getting a nice stretch at the bottom and squeeze at the top. Now, as you can see here, I'm going very slow. It's a warm-up set, so I'm just making sure everything's nice and warmed up. Stretching at the bottom as slow as I can, squeezing at the top. You don't want to go 100% range of motion or anything, unless you're doing like a powerlifting comp, something where you're required to lock out at the top. I wouldn't say that on any exercise, especially shoulder press, you need to lock out. It's not something that you need to lock out on. It's a very safe exercise if done correctly, but it's also one of those exercises, especially the shoulder press when it comes to dumbbells, so much that can go wrong. With machines, it's not too bad. The one thing I would advise with machines though is try not to move your body around here too much. Once you found a position that works for you, get fixed, get locked into there, make sure it's nice and tight, and that's where you want to be driving from. Straight down and straight up. And as you can see at the top, my elbows aren't fully extending. They're not fully locked out like this. That actually hurts my elbows. They're about there. If you want to, you know, put a percentage on it, let's say 90 to 95% lockout. I would even say 95% might be a little bit too much. Try and go for about 90% there. Down slow and fast up. So just going to do another warm-up set here. And this is around about 15 repetitions I'll be doing. So I've already done my shoulder warm-up now. If you want to see the shoulder warm-up, it will be available on my YouTube. I don't think it's on there yet, but it will be in the next couple of days. So what I'm going to do here, go straight in, 20 repetitions, lightweight. Don't be using crazy weights over here. We're just warming up. So now I'm getting into the groove a little bit. My shoulders are nice and warm. I can start to feel everything's fully lubricated. Not feeling no aches and no pains. My elbows are good, my shoulders are good. Just going for the repetitions there. So that's about 15 reps. I wanted to aim for about 20, but I wasn't counting. Obviously, I'm doing this video. Now, when it comes to shoulder machine, personally, I try not to max out on it. Now, today I'm going to be doing sets of 8 reps. This one, I pyramid up. So I will slowly increase the weight and decrease the repetitions. So I'm going to go to about there, Another thing as well, when you're doing machines that you're not sure about, like me, I've never really used this machine or I'm not familiar with it. Rather than counting the numbers on the machine, like making a note of it and shit like that, you don't need to make a fucking logbook about numbers. The best way to do it is, if I know 65, for example, I could get 20 repetitions relatively easily, then I'm sure I can move it down 2 notches. What you don't want to be doing is thinking 65 is fucking easy, and oh yeah, I'll go down to, 140, and then all of a sudden you're going to get a big shock. So machines are kind of weird. Sometimes they're not all what they seem. I mean, there's so many pulleys on this. I spoke about the pulleys before. There's a pulley there, there's a pulley there, there's a pulley there, that's 3, there's probably one behind me, 4, probably 5. There's maybe 5 pulleys on this machine. So how do we know how much weight's coming, how distributing? I'm not a fucking engineer, I'm not a scientist. You get what I'm trying to say. Work your way up gradually. So I'm gonna do another warm-up set now. I'm gonna aim for about 12 repetitions on this one. Keep everything tight and locked. Another thing you wanna be doing, and this is always the case for every single exercise, feet planted. Feet always start from the ground up. So make sure your feet are nice and planted. If there's in some machines where you're gonna have to put your feet placements in front of you, you can obviously do that as well. But keep your feet nice and flat to the floor. Keep your ass fixed. You don't want to be coming off the bench like this. We don't want to be rocking our bodies back and forward whilst we're doing the actual repetition. So keep everything nice and locked. Back against the pad. You can, when it comes to shoulders, look straight in front or look up. Doesn't make much of a difference. I wouldn't recommend looking down, but I try to kind of like look at a spot in front of me up high and have my vision there. That just always feels a little bit more natural to me. I can't really look at the same eye level. For me, that's a little bit difficult. Head back for me doesn't really work. So just find what's comfortable for you. Obviously, when you're doing benching, flat benching especially, or incline bench, it's always safer to have your head or your spine braced against the pad, and then you can push. But with shoulders, because you're pressing up or you're pressing kind of in front, like a really high incline, you can have your head off the pad. It's just find what's more comfortable for you. If you find that that's better, then obviously do that. But for me, I like to keep my head off the bench. So 15 reps now. Okay, so that was a lot easier for me. Now I know about this machine, it's actually not that heavy. So I've put it on 95 there, I'll go down to like 125. This will be my first working set on this machine. I'm gonna be doing 3 sets of 10. Because it's a machine and it's not dumbbells, it's not something like a bar. Let me explain one thing actually. When it comes to programming, and the program says 3 sets of 8 or 3 sets of 10, when I send that to a client, what I mean is work up to the weight that's very comfortable, or that you're gonna find that particular weight to be hard on, so 3 sets of 10, and use exactly the same weight for those 3 sets. So 3 sets of 10 means 3 sets of 10 with the same weight. When it comes to something like this, like a machine, 3 sets of 10 could mean, and this is getting a little bit complicated, a little bit difficult sometimes, but this is why you should always ask the coach first. 3 sets of 10 for me on this would be, I'm going to do 10 repetitions on this, I'm going to try it. Okay, that seems a little bit easy, I'll move the weight up a little bit more, maybe get another 10. It'll be a little bit harder, but I'll still be able to finish 10 repetitions. Final set, put the weight up a little bit more, maybe get 8, maybe get 10, but aim for 10 repetitions. If we get 10 repetitions, then we know mentally, next week when we come, we can obviously increase the weight. For machines that always play about with it, whether they're plate loaded, selectoralized, whatever, it doesn't really fucking matter. But when it comes to barbell work or dumbbell work, and I've sent you a program, and the program on there states 4 sets of 8 repetitions, that means work up to your weight where you're comfortable of doing 8 reps and do 4 sets on that weight every single week. Now the weight's obviously going to change, but the sets and reps will obviously change depending on what program you're in, but always stick to what it says. Only for barbells and dumbbells though, not machines. So on this, I'm going to do another 10 reps. The weight's a little bit heavier now. So that was my first set. Relatively easy. I could have run a little bit heavier, but I've got 2 more sets left. So now I'm going to increase the weight just a little bit more. I'll probably just go 1 more down now. I can see the machine's kind of starting to max out. I'm not here to max out. This is not fucking ego. If you want to get ego involved and you want to think, you know, you're strong on a shoulder exercise, go do the either, I don't know, dumbbell, seated dumbbell press, or you can do the standing military press. Those are the exercises that you want to be doing, you know, breaking records on and actually going for something. If you want to think, you know, I'm in this game for strength, I'm a power lifter or I'm a strongman, and those are the exercises to do. When it comes to machines, don't fuck about. You don't need to be doing stupid shit on fucking machines. Stick to the fucking weights, that's what it is. Don't get those big fucking pins that people buy from Gym Pin. Gym Pin, fucking what an idiot fucking design. I'll tell you one thing I read about a Gym Pin. Gym Pin, someone said, oh yeah, Gym Pin, what have you realized? How do you know these fucking cables, you know, they might snap because of your fucking Gym Pin extension? And he's wrote, well, a standard cable in the fucking gym can control 15,000 pounds of fucking pressure. Okay then, Mr. fucking Gym Pin, tell me something. Just about every single fucking gym across the world, and right now in this gym as well, there's one over there, there's one over there, and there's a machine back there as well. 3 cables are fucking snapped in this gym whilst I've been here over the past couple of days. I've owned myself multiple gyms around the world, and every so often a fucking cable snaps. If a single cable can hold 15,000 pounds of pressure, like you state on your fucking website, why are cables snapping? What's the mystery then? Why the fuck do cables keep snapping? Why do you keep losing socks in the fucking washing machine? Who fucking knows? Listen, Mr. Gym Pin, let me fucking tell you something straight. These cables, these stacks are designed to carry that load, and that is it. And even if they're just carrying that fucking load, they can still snap. And when you're adding extra fucking gym pins, extra fucking plates just for these fucking ego lifters, to add on to the fucking gym owner's machines, you're costing him more fucking money, because every time he has to repair a cable, that's coming out of his pocket. You're okay creaming it in, selling your fucking Gym Pin bullshit fucking invention. Listen, if you want to lift heavy fucking weights, dumbbells, barbells, kettlebells, those are your fucking things that you need to start loading up. Load up a fucking bar. A barbell, I know, quite safely can carry 500 kilo. Why? Because we've fucking seen it. These cables are snapping every fucking day across the world. Millions of fucking cables are snapping, and you're there on Facebook writing, oh, these cables are rated for 15,000 fucking kilos. Shut the fuck up, mate. You haven't got a clue what you're talking about, and that's how I know you've never owned a gym in your life. When you design a shit invention like that, that's what fucking happens. So if anyone's using gym pins in my gym, I'd fucking kick them out straight away. In fact, I know a couple of gyms, I'm not going to mention them, in the UK. One that's owned by a very good friend of mine, he's banned that fucking gym pin shit, and I'll tell you why he's banned it, because the cables keep fucking snapping. So stop using and loading up gym pins on fucking machines. It's fucking stupid. Right, anyway, that's a rant, that's a reel right there. This is set number 2 now, 10 reps. So again, I would say relatively easy. I'll move that down, just one more again. So it wasn't too hard, that one. So I'm gonna do the final set now. Like I've mentioned before, when it comes to the machines, every single gym in the world is gonna have their own different type of shoulder press machine. There's no point looking for a hammer strength one or this one. In fact, I think these are Life Fitness. Judging by the color, they're from fucking, what's it called? What's that gym? Planet Fitness from America. I don't know if there's any Planet Fitness gyms in Asia, but we're in Asia right now. So these have either been shipped over from America or these are somewhere in Asia. I'm gonna guess China, if anywhere. But this is Thailand. They have these Planet Fitness gym machines over here. So rather than trying to find a machine, a Cybex one or a hammer strength one or one that you're used to using, it doesn't fucking matter. It's a machine, it's a shoulder press machine. A shoulder press machine should just be used to just, you know, load the shoulder up. Yes, you're gonna be building a little bit muscle, you are gonna get a nice workout as well, but I would almost use this exercise to kind of get prepped for the heavy exercises. So the shoulder press on the dumbbells, or the barbell standing military shoulder press, or the seated shoulder press on the barbell. Those are your main compounds. When it comes to machines, don't overload the machines. Keep it very simple. Go through the fucking motions. As you can see my repetitions over here, I'm going to show you on the last set over here. They're very fast. I need to bring it down slow and explode at the bottom. All this fucking garbage. Or I've seen some people, oh, when you're doing it too fast, why are you exploding at the bottom? It's shoulders. Listen, it's all done under fucking control. I know exactly what I'm trying to do, okay? I know what my shoulders feel like. I know the muscle I'm trying to work. I'm just trying to warm it up, get this primed, ready for the heavy exercise. So last set over here, 10 repetitions. Keep everything exactly the same. Now, very easy. I could have probably stacked it. I ain't got no ego. When it comes to rest periods for machines, I don't like more than 2 minutes. If you were to use a barbell or a dumbbell, then I would say 3 to 5 minutes. But for machines, the recovery is very, very quick. Because remember, you're only going in one plane of motion. This machine isn't going to allow me to go left or right or down. There's not much muscles involved with this. It's like using a Smith machine for benching. It's as safe as fuck. You can only press up, but it's also very dangerous in the sense where you're not using the right muscles to press up because it's not natural. So when it comes to machines, any fucking machine, I would say, no more than 2 minutes, no matter how max your sets are. I don't want to see people using the machine, getting the fucking, what do you call it, elbow sleeves on the machine, elbow wraps on the machine. It's a fucking machine. 2 minute rest period. And the other thing that I would mention as well, when it comes to breathing, you can see how I breathe. Everything's rapid. You don't have to do none of this breathe in, breathe out on the certain, you know, whether you're starting the rep or at the end of the rep. You'll find what's comfortable for you. That's the best way to do it. So that is the shoulder press machine. I always use it to prep myself for when I'm doing the dumbbells or the barbell. Other than that, that's all this machine is used for. It's not gonna give you massive amounts of muscle. Don't go crazy heavy on this. Keep it relatively light. I think after you finish a shoulder press, if this is done first in your workout, for me it always is, I'm fresh now. You should be energized. You shouldn't be fucking knackered. Your shoulders shouldn't be in pain. They're relatively pumped, I would say. They're pumped up. Yeah, they're definitely pumped up. But you shouldn't be fucked on this exercise. The next exercise is where you need to get fucked when you're using the barbells and the dumbbells. For this, keep it nice and easy.